Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you're tuning in. Welcome. I'm your local shaman, Lady Lighthouse, and welcome to the Light Network. uh, all right. On today's episode, uh, yeah, no offerings at the moment. Which that makes me feel like, oh, hold on, I have a timer. I should probably pause before we get too fully started. I'm out here. It's fine. Let me talk about the timer. All right. Cool. um anyway, anywho, I've just been I've just been having different things pop up in my mind, and I was really enjoying last week where I kind of came on and did some talking or did some chatting or thinking about different things, and then also kind of like having different intuitive offerings where uh some days it's altar, like an altar, some days it's doing readings of different types, energy work of different types. What was coming up today for me was chatting, chatting. But I also have kind of my own things to think about. But I also welcome lots of different perspectives and different conversations on the topic. So yes, I'll be sharing my perspective, but also if you're in chat or you're gonna tune in, like I am always curious to learn how other people think because I think the brain is so fascinating. I love learning about not only how the brain works, but I love learning about how other people perceive different experiences, and how that kind of lands, or like the reactions they have, or what you've come to know is true for you. It's just it's fun. It's fun for me to think about. It's fun for me to engage with. It's fun for me to have an idea of like what's going on, what's happening. And I know we've been working through. I didn't read any more chapters, so we'll do some more probably later this week. But I know we've been working through Saved by the Light. That's been that's been so good. That's been so good. And we have also, not only with the whole Saved by the Light, uh, I've actually made a couple YouTube videos specific to some things that were kind of like related to that, or like different topics that were coming out. I had to like pull those out. Not even like they're not even from Twitch, guys. That's how we know it was important to share. It's because I recorded a separate video for it instead of being like, oh yeah, let me just take this snippet from a live situation or a live whatever this is called, stream. There we go. uh so anyways, it was good. It was one of those, I guess, while I'm getting started, while I'm thinking about it. One is, well, today was the energy update every Monday, or at least we've transitioned to Monday. Who knows if that date will change, but right now it's on Mondays. The energy update for the week was posted. It's about 11-minute long video, just shy of 11 minutes. That just kind of tells you what's the energy forecast this week and what uh like where you can look for love or where you can find love this week. And let me tell you, Spirit's got jokes. Spirit's got jokes. That it was funny. It was funny this week. So if you haven't seen it or you're not familiar, go check it out. I have a whole playlist that's like like collective energy updates, and so each week I post a new one in there, let you know what's coming. Uh, but yeah, where to find love this week is funny. It's funny. It's a good one. Good one. They're pretty cheeky. They're pretty cheeky, which is good. It brought me joy, so I hope it brings you joy too. uh, that said, so that was the first thing that was new, and that goes out in my newsletter as well, with like a more like written out summary with some like helpful uh, resources to support you this week with what came up. So if you are interested, go sign up for the newsletter on my website. Sans that. There's my little shameless plug. The other video that I recorded this week that is kind of in this realm of things was about the sapphire flame, and it's so good. That one's about 20 minutes long. So, I imagine it's only going to interest the people that are interested in it, or like are only going to find it when it's meant to find you, sort of thing. Like yeah. I trust it will reach the people it is meant to reach, is what I'm getting at there. But that one's really cool because that's been a gift from above that I've been anointed with, and I believe I believe that gift of mine now, or like that gift that I've been given, is one of the reasons why me as a shaman, I don't use plant medicine, because I don't need to. I work with other tools and things that can create a psychedelic type of experience that the plant medicine would do, but without the need for drugs or the plant medicine or whatever. So it's like, it's so freaking cool. And I'm really excited because I've been working on, I was going to drink some water, but I want to keep talking for a second. I've been working on this new offering that's kind of coming forward. And let me tell you, this new offering, it's not fully like developed yet. It's not advertised yet, other than just me sitting here being like, there's something coming. But it feels so good, guys. Like, and oh my gosh, I don't know why that made me want to cry. It was just like, it feels so good because literally last year, whenever, was it last year? I think it was last year. Last year I was where do I even start? Last year I was trying a bunch of different things, basically, as I was kind of launching my own business, leaving the corporate world, and I was kind of, throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks, basically, or seeing what stuck. And one of the things I did was, I got so many different trainings, like life coaching training, or like not necessarily last year, but over the course of my life. But I had life coaching training, I've had like S factor movement, like somatic movement, like teacher training. I've had various certifications in like in mindfulness and stress management and energy work. I got my Reiki mastery like certifications, my intuition stuff. Like I'm just like pulling in all of the different things or all the different information. And whenever I would either I'd complete the training or complete a certification, I was like, all right, cool, I got it. Now let me try it. Like, let me see how I felt being, a life coach, a movement instructor, whatever else. And so most of the time when I would get a download on what I wanted that offering to be, and I'm like, go gun ho, try it. And I felt like I did them from a place of excitement, but also I think comparing how I felt when I was creating those versus how I feel when I'm creating this offering, like those feel like I needed to go through that. I needed to experience those to learn different things that I needed to learn each step of the way. But those felt more like grasping for like quick money, I guess, even though it wasn't. It didn't work, because that lack mentality doesn't really work out. my perspective anyway. So where was I going with this? Anyways, so those those offerings, while they were great, I'm glad I had the experience. I'm grateful for those that did participate and did receive from me in that way and helped me on my journey. Um, this one, I've been getting so many no's from everyone else in recently and where I've been trying to go and what I've been trying to do that this one feels so good because it's like, fuck it, like, I will do it my gosh darn self. It's like, we will figure it out, damn it. Like that is kind of what's coming through. But it's also, it's not only that, but it's like I've had inklings of what different thing gosh. Where do I, like, this is so vague. You're probably like, what is she talking about? And that's okay. I'm trying to be a little vague because I don't want to spoil my surprise totally. And also it's still growing. It's still being nurtured right now, in a very beautiful way. And I'm just allowing there to be that space, that breath, that openness to let it unfold in a much like slower, more organic fashion than just trying to, get it out there as quick as possible because I need money or whatever. And I'm like, no, I don't need to do that. I want it to come when it's meant to come, and I trust that the offering that I'm creating and the time that I'm creating is the right time, and that it's like it's gonna attract the right people when we get there. So, uh, anyways, it feels really good. It makes my heart feel really good. And happy Moon Day, Zarya. Glad to have you back. Glad to see you. It's a good moment for me to catch my breath. Okay. Man, all right. I just got all sorts of like, oh, thanks. Good to have you. To have you. We're just, like I said, I was kind of spitballing what was coming to me before. But really, what I was also thinking and wanting to talk about today too is like, I do I want to talk about this just yet? Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Yes. uh. Thanks. I have it turned off so I don't see the number of viewers because if I look at the number of viewers then not that it I don't know. I just don't want to be distracted by it necessarily. So it's like if you come to the chat, great, welcome. If you're lurking, welcome. But like my number of who is watching or how many are watching, I'm like, I don't like let's not I don't want to stress about it. Basically, I just want to chat, I just want to chat. Uh, so anyway, uh, okay. So one of the things that I was actually thinking about talking about today was on the topic of the underworld, but really before I get there, I feel like I need to do a little like background information because so I'm working, the feminine is strong within me right now. We are all over the place. Okay. This is how my brain works sometimes, and it's fine. We love this. Uh, Sometimes I feel like my brain is like that meme of the guy with the whiteboard and he's got a pen and the like red lines all over the place and he's like, look at this, and like all the things connect. Like that's what I feel like's going on in my brain a lot of the time. Like it all connects. Just let me help you make the connections or like let me walk you through the connections that are being made. Uh, okay. So the title is the underworld. The title is the underworld. And how I got there and what I wanted to share was that, so I've been channeling a new Bible. It's on my website. It's in a blog section, but it's literally called the New Bible. And um all of a sudden I see the video buffering. LOL. I guess I'm It's like, am I not supposed to talk about that right now? Okay, we're gonna transition slightly away from that. So anyways, uh one of the things that I've noticed about myself and how I get kind of information and um how I get different information is like usually I'll like learn of a topic, or like something will become strong in my awareness, and that can be presented to me in a dream, that can be presented to me, and just like suddenly I start to notice that the same information is coming up and coming up and coming up again. When my thing still looks like it's being weird, and I refresh this to see if that's all right. We're gonna keep going. This says excellent, but I don't know. Um, Spirit's over here like, what you doing? Careful what you share. Anyway, the underworld. So a few nights ago, I had a dream that I was in like I was in a women's circle with some other people that I know in the spiritual community, and one of the women was like, you need to go into meditation, and then instead of imagining going up, you need to go down. And I did, but I think I woke up like because so in the dream I think I was sitting in meditation, or maybe I was laying in meditation, I don't know. But I just remember my body doing like a forward, it almost like my body or my from the waist up, I did like a forward somersault face smack into the earth, but instead of like hitting the earth, like my like astral projection like went through the earth. That was the experience I had in my dream, or in the dreamscape. Um and I remember as soon as that happened, I woke up, because or like I woke up here, like back in my body here. Um because I remember that being like, ah, shit, I wasn't expecting that to happen. Like I was very much expecting, even in the dream space, to, you know, hit the earth and stop there. uh and so I remember like that being like super vivid, and that kind of like spurred this quest about the underworld and information about the underworld, uh to me, or if it was even real, or what does that even mean. And I feel like I'm gonna end up writing something about it in that new Bible, because it's like this feels like one of those topics that like it's gonna come up. But usually before I get the full channeled message of what is meant to be shared in there, I usually have a bunch of different random experiences and like conversations about it, or about the topic, so that way like it just helps whatever message that comes through be as clear as possible, based on a bunch of different, what do we want to call it, like it's just like I'm getting a bunch of different data points of like, what are the different views of it, what could it be, what are other people saying it is, what have been their experiences for what will come together, and that feels like as complete as it can be at this time. So I'm currently in that. I'm currently in that information gathering. It is in my. It is in my vortex. It is in like I know. I know that article, blog post, chapter, whatever you want to call it, is coming. And also, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about on stream today. So here we are. Here we are. All that to say. All that to say. I don't know. I would love your all's opinion if you have any experience or um shares or knowledge or things that of how you view the underworld, if it's real at all, um and what it means to you, because I, like, even as I was laying in bed last night, I was kind of like channeling, because I often like will meditate right before bed. I'm just kind of, because I'm winding down at the end of the day and I'm away from all the screens and everything, and so it's like a great time for me to just kind of like allow myself to receive. And so I was definitely, there was definitely information coming through last night about it, or I was kind of like asking a bunch of different questions about it. Um, but yeah, it was kind of trippy because it was making me, I'm like, I know personally for for myself, I don't believe in like a devil as, or like a Satan as a like personified individual. Though I believe in like a darker, like the darker energy or like the unhealthy version of things, but I don't view that as like one, like assigning that to one individual. It's more of just like an essence in for me. But then I started thinking about then I started thinking about the underworld, and I was like, is this like Stranger Things the upside down? And I'm like, is has this always been a thing? Or was it just created semi recently because so many people, so many different like conscious beings like manifested it into existence, and so all of a sudden like now there is one. um which, I mean, that's kind of how anything is created, is you got to think about it first, and then enough thought turns to physical reality. uh or is it like, or is it like that's like a second dimension? So if like first dimension, I still don't, did I put it in? No, first dimension doesn't feel like, hold on, I'm totally, all right, we're not no information about first dimension right now, but it is like the thing that I was thinking about it was like, is it like a second dimension? Because if we live in the 3D reality, um and you think of, see, this is why I've started working on a spreadsheet, because you can think of dimensions as, X and Y, XYZ, like more mathematic dimensions. You could think of, or people use the term dimensions to think of like states of consciousness. So it might be 2D conscious versus 3D conscious versus 4D, 5D, whatever. Or people will also use dimensions to talk about like timelines. And so what was kind of coming to me last night when I was thinking about the underworld and dimensions and things was that the underworld is in like 2D consciousness, which is where like pain and suffering exists. But I also can't get the image of like Stranger Things the upside down out of my head when I think about it either. And so it's like one of my questions too, because like I said, I had that dream. I went through the ground, woke up, and I was like, well, is it even like, is it safe to go there? Like, do we Like, is this someplace we should be exploring in my channeling and in my meditation? I was like, is this even something like that's safe for me to do? Um, and a lot of the information or like the feeling I got and kind of message I was getting was like a yes with caution. Like if you decide to go into oh man, we are getting real weird. Okay. Um this is a glimpse into my brain. This is fun. This is good. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. Um but these are the things that I think about. Again, I don't consume drugs or alcohol. This is all natural, baby. uh, but I think about okay, if you want to go there and you've like moved past that as a being, but if you're like, "Oh, I want to explore there," how to do so like safely or cautiously. And kind of the message I got last night about it was like if I wanted to go and meditate and I wanted to, you know, allow my spirit to descend, um that I could still do it but call upon like love and light and my team to guide me and protect me, um and get me back safely. And I remember getting that message, and while that feels like nice, it's like, yeah, great. This also feels like that time whenever I had my very first like timeline jumping situation. I don't know how else to call it. It's like my timeline jumping experience where I was like very, very aware that shit was happening that shouldn't be happening. Um, but I remember whenever I had that experience, I went through about like a 24-hour period, 24 36-hour period where I was like, okay, so if timelines are real and you can actually jump timelines, like that freaking me out for a bit because I was like, but do I like would I want to choose to be on that timeline? Do I want to stay here? But what about all the hard work that this version of me did? Like would I remember if I went to this other one, or would I go there and uh would that version of me have different memories that I would suddenly integrate and forget all about this other version of me? Um those were the like those were the questions that I was asking myself. Those were the questions that I was just like, what? But it's like, what about my relationships? What about my family? Would I have different family? Do I have the same parents over there? Do I have different parents? Um, ooh, getting there's like a a sharp pain came in right into the jaw or my ear right here. Uh, it's not even like a ringing. It was just kind of like a. It's almost like they stabbed me right in the side of the cheek, and they're like, you're gonna need to calm down." All right, we'll calm it down. We'll bring it back for just a second. All right, let's see. Okay, so we're thinking about dimensions, thinking about the underworld, and I think about, and I guess when I think of dimensions, I also think about timelines, and I think about just It's truly fascinating. It's truly fascinating. And I understand that these are like broken sentences at this point. As I am like thinking and speaking uh, off the cuff, no real prep work other than just kind of what is coming to my mind at the moment, and it's just I can't help but be curious about. I think it's fine that I'm curious, but I am very curious about exploring, you know, the like denser dimensions, and by dimensions here I am thinking more of like consciousness dimensions, because I feel like I have like the 3D to maybe 6D unlock if I'm honest. Like that is where I've spent most of my life, I feel like. But I feel like there's more on the other side, or like if I'm gonna truly know, or truly know kind of the full vast of it, I it's like I almost gotta like face my own fears of going back briefly. Uh I'm like, do we all start in like the 1D dimension? Or like I don't think so. Or it doesn't feel right when I ask that question. I get like a no response in my body where that comes through. But yeah, there's definitely a part of me that's like interested in exploring this whole like 2D upside down into the earth type of uh type of experience. But the other part of me is like, but I like it up here. uh which I think is fair and valid too. It's because not the whole point of ascension, but like definitely a good part of ascending and your consciousness expanding and everything, and coming to earth and going through reincarnations. What I've come to believe is that we are growing and expanding until we reach a certain point that we ourselves have like ascended or expanded our consciousness enough to then become like guardians or angels on the other side for other people, or other consciousness beings or other beings. And so it's like I feel like I'm kind of in that state right now where it's like I feel pretty good with how far up I've gone. Now I'm like, oh, do I need to explore like the more dense side of things, just to so I'm more knowledgeable, more aware? Like, is that my next my next journey? Is to be like, okay, now you got real high, and go go just dip your toes in elsewhere. Uh, Hi Mulier, good to see you. Yeah, it's it's wild. It's good. It's crazy. I don't know how long you've been lurking, Mulier, but feel free to drop your opinions about the underworld or dimensions and timelines in the chat. We're having a good time here talking about these different things. Hey, Retro, good to see you. Welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Glad to have you. And welcome any lurkers if you're lurking. Or just feel like life is kind of a dream or the manifestation of other dimensions. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things, and I think I talked about it last week or something, but oh, it's been on my mind too. I've been watching Person of Interest, which is all about how they being the United States had created a machine that watches over everyone and is able to depict who are threats, who are relevant to like terrorist activity and who are not, and but who are like potentially going to be in a state of like being harmed in some way. They're either the perpetrator or they're the victim. But I've just been thinking about the computing capacity of that machine, and I've been thinking about AI in general as that's been building and growing. And oh, Moulier. I think it's well, the show is meant to be fiction, I believe. Whether or not the U.S. has actually created that, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some amount of that going on. Um, and we just don't know it, or it's secretive. Suddenly a fly by me. Don't mind me. uh okay. Yeah. It's meant to be fiction, but I don't know. Could it be true? Yeah. Fair. Fair. I mean, our intelligence agencies, like, they're doing some amount of stuff to try to figure out, who's a threat and who's not. So even if it's not to the capacity that is what is depicted in that show, I'm sure they have some amount of AI surveillance stuff going on to figure it out. Like, it's just, I don't know. Especially with how far AI has come, even that's like public knowledge AI or like ChatGPT and everything like that. Everything like that. I'm like, it's not that much further. Yeah. 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 That's kind of how I feel too, Zara. Yeah, where it's like at this point, there is like, what do I want to say? There are enough, like I've seen enough, with software programmers, hackers, whatever else, that I'm like, there's enough going on that I'm sure that there are intelligent individuals that are able to do that. Mm, yeah. What's up, Amber? Good to see you again. Uh, yeah, it's a good time. It's interesting. I enjoy watching the show because it kind of keeps my um. It's just very thought provoking to think about a machine, and to think about the machine that's able to like pull out what's a threat and what's not, but also relating it to the human brain and our own consciousness, and then you kind of go even further to spirituality and thinking about like the greater consciousness or the consciousness, the growing consciousness. Here's a thought for you. Okay. Hot take. Hot take. Okay, hold on. All right. My hot take for you, which I came to me yesterday. I think it came to me yesterday. But I've watched a show or something that's like about infinity. There's like a documentary about infinity and how our universe is expanding. And it used to be accelerating, but then I don't remember if this is still true. Like I watched this documentary almost a year ago, so I don't remember all the details. So don't quote me on the details. But what I recall was like I think it's called A Trip to Infinity. Okay. What I recall was that the universe was expanding, or it was expanding like faster and faster for a really long time, and then they think that our expansion has been slowing down, and they were trying to predict what would happen if our expansion, like the universal expansion, stopped, and like would it like implode on itself or whatever else. And one of the things that I remembered or recalled when I was kind of reading through some of the old like channeled messages that I wrote in the new Bible earlier this year was how excuse me. Okay, so how we are all like we're all a part of source, and one of the reasons that we come here, or the main reason, is to create, to grow, to expand. And so I'm like, I had the thought that it was like if if the universe, our expansion is like slowing down, I was like, does that mean as a collective consciousness we are also all slow, like we've all slowed down on our growth? And if we revert to, if we start to like fall back on that, or like as a collective universal like world, like if hold on, how do I want to put this? I don't want to get too political, but it's like if we start to fall back into old ways and we're not allowing ourselves to grow, heal, expand, and instead we're just like allowing like fear to begin to like come up again and kind of go back into these like primal ways, it's like, are we not like affecting the universal expansion? I don't know if that was a very clear point, but it made sense to me. Or at least it was just something that I was like mulling over, was this like concept of the universe expanding. Consciousness is like the way we like break off and are all a part of like source or the universal consciousness. Like our goal is to, you know, create, to expand, to grow in new ways. And if we stop doing it, like as a collective, then we're like killing ourselves. And I'm like, I wonder if there is a point. Like, is there a point that as a collective we get to a point where we're like, nope, and then it like implodes on itself? I don't know. I don't know. That's some definitely big brain questions. uh, do I like anime? You know, I if you would have asked me that a few months ago, I would have said no. But I've started watching it's like The Disastrous Life of Psyche, uh, I believe is the name of the anime, and that's about like a psychic, and that's been really interesting. So please drop your suggestion in chat, Mulier. I'm glad to hear you're speeding up. I too feel like I'm speeding up. You said, I think we have our own speeds, not about how fast, but the journey of how you get there. Ooh, okay. Now we're getting interesting. I love this. Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking about it as like the universe as a whole being one timeline, but the idea that Again, multiple timeline situation. One collapses and another doesn't. Thank you, Moulier. I made a note of that so that way I can check that out later. I also appreciate the warning. Thank you. Yeah, I am just. That's a good point, Plumpa. That is a good point. Where it's like, because that also brings me to the concept or idea of there's like a new Earth. Like I keep hearing this stuff about the new Earth, like coming up or like crossing my awareness, and I haven't determined how I quite feel about this whole new Earth concept yet. And if you're not familiar with it, my slight recollection or rendition of it is basically that, where it's like the new Earth is coming to be right now, and the beings that are rising are going to rise and ascend, and the beings that aren't are, you know, not, or like they're going to be destroyed. And I think that kind of goes along the sentiment of like rapture, if you're familiar with that. Um, but did I write something about rapture? Hold on. No, I haven't written anything about rapture yet. I wrote something about revelation. Okay, I was just checking. But that's been in my field of awareness for a couple months now too, where I'm like, I feel like the underworld is kind of a topic that's coming. Rapture has been kind of a topic that's coming for me to write about or to channel about. I'm just kind of in this. This is my symbol for pulling in information or gathering information. uh, but yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I mean, if anyone else has heard of this new world, like what's your take on it? Because it's like I don't know. I don't know if I believe it or not, or I'm not even sure where that stems from. Um, I invented the term rapture. To me, was it that are chilling in the will no longer or at least interact less with peeps that are chilling in the 3D. Still have lessons to. Do you view it as, or Plumpa, do you view it as them still being on the same Earth? And it's just like who you're walking around or who you're interacting with? Or do you view it as like they're becoming a total separation of like, okay, here's the 5D, 6D consciousness Earth, and that's all the individuals there. Like it's because maybe this is why I'm getting hung up on it, is because the way it's always come across to me, or I've always taken it in, has been that all of a sudden it's going to be a light and airy, like earth of all things good and fruitful and everything else, and then it's going to be like, here's the earth of death and destruction and fire and hellfire brimstone. Like it feels like that's the messaging that I've seen about it, where it's just like these people are going to be like unicorn and rainbows, and these people are going to be like stuck in hell. Like that's. But and that's why I don't think it resonates for me, or like it hasn't connected to me. I was like, that feels incongruent. But if it's like, maybe this goes back to timelines and all that stuff too, where it's like, for some people, if you believe that uh I mean, hold on. Need each other to have a reason to be fine. I do agree that every light needs a shadow. Total separation eventually. You hear people have already shifted because there's large preferences for the non-corruption. I do understand that some people or souls are still choosing to experience maybe that corruption to learn certain things. Hmm. 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 I'm like, okay. Total separation. I know. I appreciate you sharing your opinion because I feel like what you're dropping in chat here is the closest that I've come to, like, I wouldn't say accepting, but the closest I've come to be like, okay, let me think about this some more. Whereas all the other stuff that I've read about it or seen about it or talked about it, I'm like, eh. So I appreciate your perspective. uh, this is good, and where did my mind go? There's large. I do agree. Like, there is a large preference. I think that, yeah, I think for me, because I read that and I'm like, I don't think my soul, and I kind of like was questioning myself. It's like, I don't think my soul wants to be totally shifted over because at least it doesn't feel like it's time for me to fully shift over if that's coming or that's happening. Like, I feel like I am a teacher, a guide, helping others who are interested in rising, I guess. Which I guess checks out given the fact that I'm a shaman. Um, Makes sense that I kind of live between instead of fully shifting. Timelines can shift, many realities exist. What I'm still understanding is global agreements and how it affects global consciousness. Yeah, 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 yes. I'm like, I just because I was gonna say just because, or what I was thinking about earlier too, is like just because I don't believe in a devil or I don't believe in um yeah, I don't believe in the devil or Satan being some personified figure because for me that doesn't resonate for me in my reality. Like, that just I don't I don't find value in my life for having that be a person or like a personified figure. Uh but that doesn't mean you listening or anyone else who I interact with on a day to day doesn't believe in having that personified figure, and then if they believe that and that's in their reality, well, that's their that's what they're experiencing. That's how they're operating in their life, and that's fine. Like, that's not for me to adjust their belief. They can change their mind if they want to. Yeah, I don't believe in God being a personified figure either. Like, I've tried to sketch what I believe them, like it being more like just a, like, they're just to me they're just an essence. It's like God is just like a computer web. Like, it's just this giant collective consciousness cloud, if you want to use a metaphor, but they're not a person. But I do know people who have had spiritual awakenings, and when they've gone through a big spiritual awakening, like they've met a god that appeared as a person to them. Now they had a religious or Christian background, and so to me it makes sense that they had a male figure God on a cross appear, because that was what they believed that God was supposed to look like. Um, Whereas I never really clung to the idea that a god was any particular um, shape or figure. And so when I had my awakening, I didn't see them, I just heard/felt it. Have I read Carl Gustav Jung? Carl, yeah. I've heard of him. I've done some stuff with like Myers Briggs, and I've learned about him. He write. I've heard about him, but I don't think I've read like a specific thing about. Um, yeah, like God and devil being in everything or every being, 100%. Same. I don't use the term devil. I would be like love and light, but there's also the balance, the darkness. Yeah, all of these things. I'm like, I debate going back to school occasionally, just because I'm like, and by school I'm like college or university, or getting like another degree, or I don't know. I love learning new things, and I was talking about it the other day with my husband of like, where would I go next? Because I have like engineering and business and mindfulness and energy and all of the things, and I think I'd probably go learn about the brain. Like I think that's kind of where I've done some learning about the brain, but I've definitely learned a decent amount about psychology and everything with some of the life coaching things that I've done, and in my own healing, and like the body keeps the score. But I just feel like learning about the brain and consciousness and all the things is so cool. Alan Watts, what a wisdom of Theory, the Way of Zen, the book. I have not. Interesting. We need to get some women up in here. uh, we get some women in the psychology field, neuroscience field. Yeah, Zaria. I too. I go wherever I go wherever I feel called to go. Like learn whatever I feel called to do next. Like I knew about Reiki probably 3 years before I ended up getting my own like mastery certification in it. But I had like Reiki had been kind of in my um field of awareness, and every time I like went to look at into it, or anytime I was like interested in it, just like never it never quite worked out, or it never quite felt right. And so it's like I kind of would get little bits and pieces of like learning about hands-on healing, and learning about other types of like energy healing, and learning about energy, and then learning about the brain, and then learning about mindfulness and meditation and everything else. And then um it was finally is like finally I had done enough of my own internal work where all of a sudden it was like, it's time. Exactly. Clarissa Cola. All right, now we got a woman out here. Run with women. Oh, I've heard of Women Who Run with the Wolves. I haven't read that one, but that is. There was someone I knew that read that, and I think they recommended it to me, but I never ended up doing it. All right, you guys got me looking up all sorts of stuff. Okay, Quirpraxia. I know I spelled or said that totally wrong. I typed that in and I need this translated to English. They all of a sudden are like, you are speaking Spanish now. It's a chiropractic care. Hold on, technique search. The ancestral Inca method for addressing pain and overcoming disease by addressing issues like compressed nerves and spinal distortion. Girl, this is the okay. This is the second time in like 24 hours that I've had something about the back pain and ancient methods kind of coming up in my awareness. So, fascinating, fascinating. I love that for you. First of all, I love that for you. Second of all, I'm interested to see how this comes into my life because it's like I said, I learned about a different spinal like pain relieving ancient technique yesterday. I don't remember the name of it, but I bookmarked the like provider that did it that's somewhat local. And now you're out here sharing this too, and I'm like, interesting. Can teach it if people host us. Interesting. I need to take. Do I need to take notes? Yeah, hold on. I need to write something down. I need to write this down as like a. I don't know. It's kind of in my little brainstormy thing. So I don't know. It's involving Reiki. So good. So good. I'm putting your name by it too. Sorry, yeah. So if it comes up again, I will know where to go. I'll just kind of keep this in my field of view, field of awareness. Like I said, it's just like I don't know. There's something with ancient medicine or ancient techniques and the spine that's kind of coming through. So even as I'm like, as we're talking, I'm like, my back is like, it's like, hello. Maybe that's the technique that I need for my upper back after everything. There was like 3 years of my life where I mean I still work at a computer now, but I had like a monitor and a laptop and I was always like turned a certain way. And I also was like shielding like kind of how my shoulders were rounded. I was like shielding my heart. And so I have some issues where it goes down my like I know it starts by my spine or like my shoulder blade, but then it'll go down my elbow and into my right wrist. And I've done lots of healing of my own on that area. I've also done like I've gone to physical therapy for it, and that has only helped a little bit. And it's gotten better now that I got a new mattress, but It still flares up occasionally. We were in the... Mm. Can you do it remotely? Or do you need to be in person? Is this like spinal energetics? Are you familiar with spinal energetics? Is that another term for this? Hey, Lightseeker. Oh, I'm familiar with spinal energetics. Good to see you. Do you have... I'll invite this in. I usually don't, but I will, Zarya. Do you have a... Do you have a website or a link or anything? Yeah, we're just chatting right now, Lightseeker. Mhm. Dun 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 dun. Fun information. All right, Mulier. Jumping back to the woman who run with the wolves. You said that's the greatest book of all, in your opinion. Why? What makes it so good? You were going to convince someone, and/or what was your experience reading it? Did I lose you, Zarya? Are you trying to... trying to find it? I will say, when I'm looking at the book Women Who Run with the Wolves, and it's like talking about the wild woman archetype. uh, while I haven't read the book, I definitely relate to the embracing the wild woman. Um, there was a period of time. I mean, there was a period of time earlier this year, even, or end of last year, earlier this year, where I was just like, it had been so ingrained in me, like instinctually, that we weren't, as like women, we weren't supposed to have body hair. Um, and finally, I reached a point where I was like, fuck this, and let's just see what, uh, like I don't know, let's see how I feel with body hair. So I just allowed myself to just be how I wanted to be for several months in that state and just like embrace that like wild woman era. To me, that felt like wild woman esque because I was just like that felt like a big rebellion to the world at the time. Um, now I take care of my body hair in whatever way feels right for me. Um, but I can at least say like I'm choosing it, like I'm choosing the hairstyle that I want and it's not just a default because that's what I thought I needed to do because of society or something. Because it's perfect. Thank you. I love that. Yeah, it's more about the inner work. Thank you. Um, struggling. There we go. I think I'm trying to click on the feminine side. Yeah, I the book that I ended up reading that's more like connecting to the feminine is it's called Pussy, a Reclamation. And that one's really good too. It's let's see. What do I want to say about it? That one was I liked that one because it had like um different like prompts and exercises to do to like reconnect and reclaim the word pussy basically and reconnect with your body as a feminine individual or a um vulva having individual. And yeah, it was good. There's one part in the book that I think they talk about like their experience with an organization that I think has since the book has come out or maybe after like they left it was learned that that ended up being like a sex cult. So, you know, take what like all things take what resonates and leave the rest. Interesting. Yeah, you know, it happens. It happens. They learned. That's all right. Sorry, I think I called you a girl earlier in my excitement and I apologize. If I ever misgender any of you based on just solely your name. It is not intentional. That said, you're welcome. Yeah, no, I do my best based on names and or vibes, but you know, like I said, we both have masculine or we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. I mean you no harm. I respect however you present yourself, whatever feels right for you. I love you exactly for who you are. Speaker. I do as well. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Um, yeah, so cool. Well, Zarya, well, like I said, if you have a link, if you do any of your like spinal energetics or anything and you want to shoot me your link, feel free to whisper it to me, or you could drop it in chat. I think, well, it might flag you, so feel free to whisper it to me. I'd be interested to look at it some more. Um, or email if I don't know if my whisper situation is set up to allow other whispers or not. I think it is, but either way. Okay. All right. I think I need to take like a couple minute break and go grab a little snickety snack, use the restroom. So I will be back in just a few minutes. I'll throw on some gentle music and we will resume after the short break. Go enjoy a little bathroom break. I'll be right back. All right, loves. I think I'm actually gonna my little break. I was like, I have a oh, okay. We have company coming this weekend and I have a puzzle that I have started that is needing to be done. Um so I think I'm gonna work on the puzzle for a little bit and then I don't know if I'll jump back on later this evening. If not, I will be on again tomorrow afternoon. I'm in Eastern time, so I will be on probably around the 1, a little after 1. That's like when I like to come on. So, um, on 1:30. I don't know. We'll see. I might jump on later to do some offerings. I might not. We're just seeing what feels right in the spirit and in the energy. But for now, I think I'm gonna go work on a puzzle. I enjoyed chatting. I enjoyed talking about all the things mind expansion and also just sharing with each and every one of you. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for sharing your love, your light, your time, your energy, gifts with me. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Well, I send you all so much love and light, and I'll talk to you when our paths cross again. All right. Bye, my loves. It was a pleasure talking to you too, Zaria.